proving that the fandom menace isn't just angry males. It's toxic femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge After Dark. Hello there, everybody. How you doing in YouTube land? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you're at, if I can talk today. With us, as always, is Mary, Miss Meg. How are you, Louise?
We're doing pretty good. Tom, how are you?
We're doing great, I think. And now that we have everybody back and we're running, we had a problem there. That's why we're a little late, but we're all good to go, I hope. Fingers crossed. So, without ado, why don't you ladies introduce yourself one by one? Miss, let's start with you down there in the corner.
Hey, I'm a sarcastic nerd, but you can call me Miss. I have a channel if you want to check that out, and I have a Twitter. I just uploaded a video about the Joker movie, if you want to check that out. How's everybody?
You look so pretty in high def.
You have a new camera.
Yeah, I have a new camera.
We're working on getting a mic, and I think Mox is in the chat. He'll probably start throwing up the ladies' links. Speaking of, Megs, why don't you tell them about your YouTube channel?
Hi, I'm Megs. I do the Megs Show on my channel, which is just self-titled Megs. I'm on Twitter at Megan Baileys. I also co-host the Jolly and Meg Show with my puppet brother Jolly, and yep, I do reviews and such, and yeah, love being here with my ladies and Tom.
You always seem so disappointed when you say my puppet brother. My puppet brother Jolly.
I love Jolly.
I love him. I'm just terribly disappointed in him.
You know, I love life. I don't know. I need to come up with I need to amp up my intro. That's where I'm at. I need to come up with a really stellar intro. That's where that's my problem.
I would imagine I would imagine having a brother that's a puppet would cost a fortune in therapy. But anyway.
Yeah, see, that's where it poses a problem, you know?
One of these things is not like the others.
Show us on your brother where the man hurt you.
No, it's I gotta work on the intro. See, and I'm just bad on intros. So I'll come back at you next week. I'll work on it. We'll have a really cool one next week. If you find my first video on my channel, it's bad. So you'll understand why I'm bad at intros. So
next week she's gonna come out like Elvis, just all
Yeah, okay, Tom. After last night, the Elvis stuff.
Shh, that doesn't happen for
we'll
4
see.
weeks.
Right.
Next week, and you'll find out. There you go.
Mary, let it slip.
Speaking of Elvis, Mary, why don't you tell us where we can find you and all the mayhem that's on your channel?
Well, hi guys, I am Mary B. I am the mistress of mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Wayman card holder, which is not here with me. It's at my other house, and yeah, you can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where we talk about newsy news stuff during the week, and we do shenanigans, karaoke, and failed save on the weekends. So lots of fun stuff and content over there for you. You can find me on Twitter at MaryB2184. So yeah, come check me out.
See, I need something like that.
You'll get it.
That's one breath too. I have nothing like that.
She's been practicing.
I sit here in the mirror and I'm like, oh.
But like Rob, he's been doing that outro and intro for the last 3 years almost, so he's got it pretty down pat. So. All right, I'm gonna duck out here so the ladies can take over and talk to you about all the interesting things they have to talk about. Mary, why don't you kick us off with the story that you have going here with the whole female reboot thing? This goes right in with Midnight's Edge and Ghostbusters, I would imagine.
Oh, it's gotten so dumb, guys. So if you guys know, I don't know if you've ever heard me refer to what it is that essentially you've heard of chick flicks, right? Well, movies like Cliffhanger and Rush Hour are essentially dick flicks. Forgive my language, right? They're just dick flicks. They're just shoot 'em up, bang 'em up action videos for guys, right? That's what they're into. That's what they like to watch. Let them have their stuff. So they're doing reboots of both Cliffhanger and Rush Hour, and we'll go ahead and read the article, and then we can get into the discussion about it. So
I like dick flicks. They keep in them.
They're all right. I mean, I'm a chick.
There's a time and a place.
There's a time and a place.
Right. Cliffhanger reboot with female lead and Jason Momoa cameo in the works. So, a cliffhanger reboot with a female lead and a Jason Momoa cameo is currently in the works. Within the past several years, it has become clear that slowly but surely, things are beginning to change in Hollywood. Criticized for their lack of diversity and gender biases, many studios are rethinking the way they create cinema. As the popular concept of rebooting past hits continues to thrive, the public demands for a new focus on characters and perspectives has resulted in some popular franchises like Ghostbusters and Ocean's 11 doing away with male leads and replacing them with women. Whether the concept has been successful or not is arguable, but at present, it's perhaps too early to tell if the gender-swapped reboot will eventually catch on in a big way. One of the numerous titles still awaiting a fresh lease on life is the 1993 rock-climbing action-adventure romp Cliffhanger. The original film starred Sylvester Stallone and was a sizable hit, bringing in more than $255 million globally on a $70 million budget. A reboot has been in the works for some time, but we now know in exactly what direction the project is heading. So according to Deadline, Fast and Furious franchise producer Neil Moritz is set to produce a Cliffhanger reboot through his original film banner alongside Rocket Science Productions. The new take on the classic action thriller will replace Stallone's Gabe Walker character with a yet-to-be-named female lead. As of this writing, Jason Momoa is said to be in talks to join the film's roster in a cameo role. You can check out a promotional poster for the reboot below. And as you can see, double check and make sure he's showing that part there. But yeah, well, on my screen, there's a cliffhanger. So it's just a chick hanging from a cliff. And it says, hold on, it's just a chick silhouette. Yeah, there it is. So this new take on Cliffhanger will be directed by Anna Lily Amirpour, who broke onto the scene in 2014 with her Iranian vampire film, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Though casting for the film is already underway, there still isn't a script. However, Sasha Penn, Creed 2, is reportedly at work on the screenplay, with a first draft expected in the coming weeks. Rebooting Cliffhanger has been an ongoing passion project over the course of the last number of years for Moritz, and the project, which is heading to this month's Cannes Film Festival, will be looking to secure an international rights sale at the prestigious festival's film market, the Marché du Film. So far, Moritz has been clear that he's looking to expand this reboot into a potential franchise opportunity, which is an interesting concept, though it's unclear exactly what that would look like. What's clear is that Moritz's experience with the Fast and the Furious franchise, which is Universal's most successful franchise of all time, is indeed advantageous. Predictably, there will be the usual whining and pouting by some of the reboot's gender swapping. But ultimately, a new take on this great film is exciting news for those interested in seeing Hollywood push its boundaries.
I love that. I love the whole thing. I love the picture there. I love, in comparison to like the actual Cliffhanger picture, how what she's going through is more dangerous than what Sylvester Stallone's going through in the picture with women, and it's 10 times more dangerous.
Well, it's got to be more dangerous, right? We've got to up the ante here. We've got to make it more difficult because she's a whammon. And oh boy, howdy, if we don't make sure we throw some whammon up on the screen, then we're not progressive enough. Nobody wants this.
I haven't watched the movie. I've seen a trailer and I saw the beginning scene with the thing. Are we allowed to spoil Cliffhanger?
I'm pretty sure we can spoil Cliffhanger.
Okay, when the girl falls. I saw the scene where the girl falls, and I was joking with my dad, like, what, they could have some skinny, like, stick woman holding this big buff guy.
Jason Momoa's whole thing, like, I don't want to die.
Yeah, that's who they're supposed to play for that, right? It's supposed to be Jason Momoa.
That's the consensus on this.
He's gonna fall. He takes her arm off with him, though.
Right.
Then she's disabled. Then she's a woman and she's disabled.
Right? No, let her have like a wheelchair glued to a bar the cliff, holding on to Jason Momoa with all her might, and he's just going, I don't want to die. All I will be able to think about is Spider-Man and Peter Parker going, I don't want to go.
Oh, no. Then Jason Momoa has like a really girly scream.
Right. With
It's
the big
gonna
burly
be
man.
awesome.
Big burly man with the little tiny shriek.
Maybe they'll pitch it up a few octaves.
Right.
Maybe they'll give him a skirt.
Oh,
They'll progressive.
fishnets. Oh, God.
I don't understand this insane need to keep messing with everything. Like, this is a dick flick. This is not. Nobody wants this. Nobody
You
wants.
can't replace Stallone. You can't do it. He's unreplaceable. Can't do it. There's no point to do it, especially in this movie. Like,
I'm gonna put on a dress, and then
you can't.
perfect for the pot or not, because I'm gonna hang off the cliff in the dress, and you're gonna see my dick flick in the wind.
Sean
Put some
Stripe
air
is
between
mighty
my balls.
pissed. Sean Stripe is mighty pissed. He says, no, fuck that. We need to talk about how they're already fucking casting when they don't even have a fucking script.
And
Fuck that.
fair enough, right? So it's no longer about the story, right? This is another example of when your agenda comes before the story that you're even trying to tell. It doesn't matter that they don't know exactly how they're even going to do this. It doesn't matter that they don't have a way to. I mean, were you literally just going to swap the roles and that's all? This is the laziest crap that I have ever seen in my life. You don't have a script. You don't care about the story that you're trying to tell. You have it all nice. This is exactly what they did with The Lion King. We have what we need. So we're just going to retell it and stick some new people in those roles, right? But you don't care about it. You don't care about the source material. And look, I'm not a cliffhanger fan. I don't care. I'm a chick. I don't care. Sorry. I don't care. But there are men out there who do care, who don't want you mucking around with the things that they happen to like, the things that they happen to enjoy. It was a hit. People enjoyed this movie. So why is it that you feel this insane need to go through and replace every single strong male character with a female character? It's insane. Stop mucking with everybody's stuff. You don't care about the source material. You don't care about the content. All you care about is shoving your stupid woke agenda down everyone's throat. I'm not going to see this, and I'm sorry, but if I had it my way, all this stuff would just be shut down from get-go. We don't need another reboot.
No, not with this.
There's a way to do this without stealing from the original story. I mean, honestly, they could do a sequel with Stallone's character's daughter doing that or something. I mean, that wouldn't be that bad.
Right.
Don't do the same exact story.
It would sit better, you know. It would be like, ugh.
Yeah, she wants to go and get into that stuff. Blah blah blah. I don't know. Something to go along with that. I don't know how the story went, so I can't exactly.
It would flow better, you know. It not just a whole reboot, redone, but you're a female now. You know, it's.
Well, and they keep talking about how it's a big step forward, right? Box office. This is some big step forward for women. But how? How is this a big step forward for women? You didn't give us anything special. You didn't give us anything new. You didn't craft a story for us. You didn't give us an opportunity to push boundaries. No, you just slapped a female in the role and called it handled. How is this a push forward? How is this a way to try to advance women in any way, shape, or form? I don't see that. I don't get that. This is so incredibly insulting and demeaning. Yeah. And no self-respecting woman will look at this and go, well, that's progress, y'all. No, it's not. They're lazy and you're letting them use you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
What are we looking up here, Tom? The hustle. Oh, yeah. You had said something about the hustle, I believe. Tom?
The article that you had originally brought up, or a couple articles you had brought up, you had said that they had said, that this is not necessarily a tested thing yet, the all-female reboot. Well, we have more than enough proof that that's a bunch of horse shit. The Hustle pretty much flopped. Ghostbusters was a mess. You know, we've had a few other ones. Hustle was a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, in case anybody doesn't know what that was. But they just switched out the male parts with women, which already they did, 20 years ago, technically, with Heartbreakers, it was called, with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Boobs Hewitt. So
I remember that one.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I know that was one point that Mary was getting to in her original, when she originally brought it up, was that, this has been tested. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, because it's lazy, and there's no doubt that some people do fall for it, right? And certainly there's some SJWs out there who get their jollies from it, who enjoy seeing this sort of gender swap thing going on. So it's not as if we expect it to be something that not everybody catches on to. But what blows my mind is that they keep trying to do this. They keep trying to push it. And then when you don't accept it, when the masses are like, no, that sucked, then they get mad and they call you names.
Yeah.
Well, like when it comes to like the reboots or the thing is that they're just redoing it. They're rehashing the same story and replacing it with women for the progressive bullshit. And there are some films that I would like to see women in, like Fanboys. I'd like to see a female version of, but not as a reboot though, as a like sequel.
Well, and I think something that's muddied the waters is all the Paul Feig films prior to Ghostbusters, because let's face it, Bridesmaids was basically a bachelor party with women. The Heat was Lethal Weapon with women. The Spy movie was 007 as a woman. That's his gimmick. Now, I don't think anybody, and I've said this a million times before, so it goes without saying, but I don't think anybody would have had a problem if he'd have made a movie like Ghostbusters and not called it Ghostbusters and not been a remake of Ghostbusters and had an all-female, like, ghost extermination group that was like Ghostbusters, and nobody would have had a problem with that, I don't think. Because Feig's little shtick is to take something that's typically a dick flick, as you called them, and I like that. I'm going to keep that. Sorry. It's walking out with me and my lighter.
My lighter.
And I mean, they take that and they spin it on its head, and it works, but not if you're going to do it as its own thing. Like if they turned around and did Charlie's Angels and it was all men and Charlie was a woman and Bosley was a woman, they would lose their collective mind. And then the movie would turn out like the Three Stooges anyway, probably just to make a point to hit it home. But
that would be stupid though.
If I would like to just point something out that I think is in and of itself something that people don't seem to catch on to, is that implying in the first place that this is stuff that women can't or don't do, or that society has somehow said that they shouldn't do, is in and of itself insulting. It implies that people think that women shouldn't or can't do these things. And the truth of the matter is they don't. Right? You're implying that there's something taboo about women doing this stuff, but there isn't. Look, the truth of the matter is that the reason why I wouldn't care about doing a gender swap for Charlie's Angels for males is because males are constantly out there doing that kind of stuff anyway.
It would be a repetitive. It would be kind of stupid. It would be like the Expendables, basically, with just.
Well, that's the point we got to. That is the point where we're at with this stuff. Is it happens all the time. So what are you on about? What are you on about? We get these female empowered movies all the time. So why are you still acting like it has anything to do with anything? Like we should all be like, oh my gosh, guys, look how strong and empowered she is. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this a, dare I say, novelty? It's not. No one cares. It happens all the time. All the time. Why are we talking about this?
A perfect example is Sarah Connor. She was a great female heroine in the Terminator films, and now in this new movie, a lot of people aren't really realizing it until I bring it up. They're basically making her a failure so that they can insert this new savior of tomorrow who isn't John Connor de facto. So you've ruined one of the best female heroines of film history just so you could push your agenda. Way to go. Way to go, Hollywood.
Well done. Congratulations, you are doing a wonderful job at disempowering empowered women everywhere. Thank you for that.
I mean, to me, that's almost worse than when they killed Newt in Alien 3, because that kind of demeaned everything that Ripley did in the film before that.
They are doing the same thing with Rush Hour, as I understand it. I saw an article on that earlier as well. So this is all over the place.
Oh my god.
Guys, oh my god, guys. I got an idea. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a movie that starred males and we're going to make them women. Wasn't that an amazing idea? We'll make so much money.
You're so smart.
Except they already did this. It was called The Heat. It was called The Heat.
What a novel idea. You guys are geniuses. Someone give that man a freaking award.
Because let's face it, what is Rush Hour really? For those who haven't seen it, it's basically like your Lethal Weapon type movie, only instead of just crazy cop meets old cop, it's Asian cop meets black cop. That's all it is.
The thing about it is that Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan made that movie work. If it was anybody else, that movie would not have gone where it went. There wouldn't have been a Rush Hour 3.
Steel Magnolias.
Like, what are they going to do? Just have a stereotypical black woman up there being?
Yeah, they're casting an Asian and black woman, as I understand it. I was looking.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, we wouldn't do anything, God forbid, that might actually make it new and fresh. We're just gonna slap a woman in there and call it handled.
They're so dumb.
And to go back to Charlie's Angels and another movie I always bring up, Wonder Woman, Hollywood forgets that there is a pile of great female characters to draw from that there's no reason to do this. And Mecca, who's in the chat right now, I don't know if she's gonna pop in or not. She can if she's not busy. But as she and I always point out, it's like it's demeaning to these characters if you have to flip-flop them to a female. It's like, why would you want that as a woman? Why would you want to have to live up to something before you'd want to do something fresh? You'd want to do something new.
Let them stand on their own 2 feet instead of forcing them to use the plank that was already set out there for them by a man. It's ridiculous. Sorry, my phone's ringing home.
I like this one. The Rush Hour reboot better stars Michelle Yeoh and Sonequa Martin Green, or we riot. Damn right.
Rush Hour 3, the Rush Hour series was not about empowerment for males. They weren't in that movie being badasses the entire time. They were complete idiots. They were complete morons.
Those movies in a nutshell are Jackie Chan does a bunch of stuff to save the day and Chris Tucker screams a lot. That's the movies. That's pretty much those movies. And after this one, to be honest, I thought they sucked anyway. The first one's the only one worth a shit in my eyes.
I thought it was funny. I didn't watch it for the action. I watched it for the chemistry between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Right.
Well, of course.
I didn't watch it because of fighting and guns and explosions.
Because it's a dick flick, and most chicks are just like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But you do need to, if you want to get a female audience in there, you need to sort of have something to bring a female audience in. Because as far as I'm concerned, a guy shooting another guy is the same thing I can watch in any other dick flick movie. So, and I'm sure guys feel the same way about chick flicks, right? Like, you can watch a chick kiss another guy kiss a guy in any other movie, and it's, why am I watching this? But it's appealed to different audiences, right? So I need the chemistry there, and I'm sorry, but
well, I've complained for women for years on how shitty chick flicks, in quotations, have been, especially dramatic love stories, because they're all the same. They run the same exact, checklist of what they have in them. Girl down on her luck meets a rich guy or guy who's going to fix everything for her, makes a fool out of herself in front of said guy, spends the rest of the movie trying to win said guy, wins said guy, everything works out for her. That is every one of those movies.
Well, it's a fantasy. All those chick flicks are fantasies for females to go through and be like, I want a guy like that. But when they get a guy like that, they realize they don't want a guy like that.
Just like dick flicks are fantasies for guys who want to go out and, with a little murder boner. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, a good example of this situation is a movie that's actually decent. And I wish they would just have left the original ending on it because it would have been more poignant. But here's a case of a test audience fucking up a movie. In the original Pretty in Pink, Ducky was supposed to get with the girl, not what's his face. What the hell's his name?
I've never seen Pretty in Pink.
I haven't.
Not Matthew McConaughey. What the hell's his name? Andrew McCarthy.
I think all the women here have not seen Pretty in Pink.
No, it's an actual decent chick flick, but in the original movie, she gets with the geek instead of the sexy guy.
Poor
Tom. He's been wanting her through the whole movie, and he's the only one who gives a shit about her. Or, so it's like, whatever. Anyway.
So we do have more stories to cover now. I don't know if
Female rebooted biopic about Churchill. Okay, Steve. You can do that.
Female Churchill.
Oh, Road Warrior. They're doing that right now, kind of. The female remake of Lost Boys. They keep trying to do that CW Lost Boys show, and that's basically what they're doing is gender swapping a bunch of shit in there.
No.
But I guess it's testing horribly, so I don't know if it's
Stop it.
Reboots and such. No.
And this goes back to a conversation you ladies had a couple weeks ago about that new movie that somebody brought up, an all-female remake of Goodfellas. Well, they just did that with, what was it called? The Kitchen, or what the hell was it? Other
one about the mob.
Yeah, with the mob wives or whatever, and everybody's just like, it's just a female version of like one scene in Goodfellas, basically.
Yeah.
What kind of chicks are you? Not watching Pretty in Pink.
Good news, everyone. Women have guns in this. Congratulations. Progress.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, unless there's anything else to say about this subject, we might as well move on to
just quickly, that like most female empowered women you usually find are politically strong women, like Padme, or some princesses in the Disney world. Usually when they take on sort of a political role, that's where their empowerment is. They're smart, so they're caring for what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about Red Sonja? She's not political and she kicks ass.
I don't know who that is.
Her ninja skills. Are you talking about she's in Mortal Kombat, right?
Oh.
Red Sonja is actually from Conan.
That's one of the most cringy movies.
But just Sonya is in.
I think about Sonya.
Like Red Sonja is kind of like Wonder Woman, only she kills everything that moves and fucks everything that moves.
Think about a different Sonya, my bad.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like Conan the Barbarian had Red Sonja. Yeah. But yeah, there's tons and tons of female characters. I see, somebody son of Red Ronda Rousey for Red Sonja. I don't know about that, but yeah, go watch Red Sonja. It says Wookiee Life Matter.
Hi, Wookiee. Love you from Wookiee.
Sonya Blade. Yeah, that was.
I like action movies. I've always liked action movies. So,
but yeah, that's all I have on it.
Oh, lordy. So the next thing you wanted to get into was the whole.
So the next one is actually Meg's, the Robert Pattinson as Batman. I don't know if you want to take that bit.
Yes. I have it up on my screen.
You go ahead and read it on your end, and I'll just bring it up on the main screen. Yeah.
Muy bien. Okie dokie. So I'm ready whenever you're ready. To start? Okay. So Robert Pattinson drops Joaquin Phoenix Joker spoiler in an interview. But what is it? So it says here, Warner Brothers and DC Films, the Batman star Robert Pattinson drops a Joaquin Phoenix Joker spoiler in an interview, then retracts it. So what did he accidentally reveal? In recent years, Warner Brothers Worlds of DC franchise has evolved from a simple cinematic universe, though that still exists in the form of DC Extended Universe, to include films set in separate universes. The first of these is Todd Phillips' Joker, which doesn't continue to continuity from David. Sorry, I get tongue-tied. From David Ayer's Suicide Squad, in which Jared Leto played the Joker, and instead follows a different version of the character played by Phoenix. However, Warner Brothers is still planning to release the film in the DCEU, including Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, and Aquaman 2. Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman is also expected to be set in the DCEU, but will follow a younger version of Bruce Wayne than the one played by Ben Affleck. Pattinson was cast for The Batman, confirming the movie would follow a younger take on the character. However, there has been reports that The Batman wouldn't be set in the DCEU, though Reeves has said in the past that it would. Those rumors circulated prior to Pattinson's casting and the new actor on board. It remains to be seen how connected or disconnected the movie is from the DCEU. A new comment from the actor himself may offer some insight. In an extensive interview from Variety, Pattinson spoke about his Batman casting. Donning the Batsuit for the first time and meeting with Marvel Studios for Guardians of the Galaxy years ago, Toward the end of Variety's published interview, writer Ramin Sadidu makes note of a particular exchange between the two, part of which is retracted due to being a spoiler. I'm not going to say that. Read Suvu's description of the exchange and Pattinson's on the record comments below. At one point in our conversation, he offers a mundane comment about Joaquin Phoenix, who stars in Joker, a movie he hasn't seen yet, before asking to retract it. Oh, he says, adding that he's not accustomed to thinking about spoilers. I definitely should not say that. I'm so used to pretty art house movies where you can watch the movie 3 times and still not know what it's about. It's unclear what exactly Pattinson said that he retracted, but based on description and the actor's following comments, we can make some inferences. Confirms whatever Pattinson said is a spoiler, though it's not clear whether it spoils Joker, the Batman, or both movies. Since Pattinson hasn't seen Joker and specifically says the actor's comment was about Phoenix, we can assume the spoiler isn't about the Joker movie itself. So, if it's not about Joker, but it is about Phoenix, then it sounds as if Pattinson accidentally confirmed he'll get to act alongside the man who plays the Joker in an upcoming movie. Although it may that Pattinson was referring to a non-DC movie that hasn't been announced yet, the more logical conclusion seems that the two will unite in an upcoming DC film. If that's the case, it'll have a much larger implications on the world's DC franchise and the universe of the DCEU. Pattinson's Batman and Phoenix Joker appearing in a movie together either confirms the Batman exists outside the DCEU or that the Joker will somehow be brought into the DCEU. It's possible that Warner Brothers is waiting to see how successful Joker is, since it's their first R-rated comic book superhero movie. If it's a critical and box office success, Joker could launch a new R-rated franchise that exists separate from the DCEU, one that includes the Batman. But if Joker fails, then the studio and Reeves could rework the Batman. That said, without knowing exactly what Pattinson said, it's impossible to know what implications a spoiler has on the DCEU and the Batman. For now, fans will have to wait and see what Phoenix villain origin film has in store, how it sets up a possible Joker sequel or return, and whether the Batman will be connected. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Sorry, I could not pronounce that name, so that's why I just went shh, shh, shh.
So essentially, this winds up being like it was just something that Pattinson dropped. He didn't intend to say whatever it was that he says, and we don't know exactly what it was that he said in the interview, only that he dropped a spoiler and he connected the name Phoenix to it, which means, since it's highly unlikely that he knows anything about the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, that he knows something else potentially. So we're inferring from this that we're going to have a connection, a deeper connection between Robert Pattinson to the overall DCEU, which originally we had been told was not likely because they were going for a younger take on Batman with Pattinson, and so it was going to sort of be separate from the rest of the DCEU. So it's kind of exciting if we are on board with the Pattinson Batman.
Pattinson, I like that.
The Batman.
I think so. And that also kind of means that Joaquin Phoenix is probably going to be a little bit longer too, which, I mean, I haven't seen the Joker movie, but I love Joaquin Phoenix. So, I mean, that makes me happy too.
So
yeah.
It looks pretty good to me. I'm actually pretty on board with Robert Pattinson as being Batman. I loved Ben Affleck. I actually really loved Ben Affleck as Batman, but I respect the fact that the guy has a lot of stuff going on in his life right now. He's simply incapable at this particular moment of taking care of himself and continuing this role, right? And so
drama.
Yeah, he's just got a lot of stuff going on, and I think Pattinson has actually got the chops for it. You know him from Twilight, but he's done a number of other art house films and things, and he's got some chops on him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he'll do, because he is a good actor. He isn't just Edward Cullen from Twilight, that angsty teen. You know, he played off that quite a bit. He hated it.
Yeah,
He absolutely hated it. I think the best thing that came out of that series was how much he hated that role and was open about it.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, he did a lot of independent movies after that, actually.
Yeah, and he did pretty good.
Because I think he's got the look for it as well. If you looked at his jaw, geez.
Yeah, he's a handsome feller.
Yeah.
Very into that.
He's a very pretty boy. I would be interested to see what he does with it. So I'm not on the Pattinson hate train. I'm just not on it. And I do love the idea of this look. I know that there are a lot of people who aren't interested in a backstory for the Joker, and fair enough. And so The Killing Joke gets some measure of flack for that. You don't need a backstory for the Joker, right? He's twisted, he's psychotic. We don't need to know about the backstory. Let's just love to hate him, right? And I get that, and I respect that point of view. I completely respect it. But at the same time, it's just so juicy, right? There's this amazing, endless potential that you could dive into in terms of the psychology of the Joker. And so I'm so totally on board with this movie, and I really can't wait to see it. And I wouldn't mind seeing a nice little, maybe just bring them both into the DCEU, and I'd love to see a Joker antagonist for an actual like Justice League film with if Pattinson does well. Him potentially fulfilling that role moving forward.
I imagine the two of them would have great chemistry on screen.
I think so too. I agree with that. I think they'd be good together. So
yeah, I'm excited. I kind of want to see what they do with it. And even like the thing is about the Joker thing is that even if they ruin that entire thing, even if the Joker sucks, it's not like it's going to ruin everything. There's so many other Jokers to fall back on and love and still be your favorites.
10 years from now.
Look, not like the DCEU's been doing fabulously. So, I mean, let's take a few risks, right? I'd like to see them.
We need something, okay? Everything can't just die. We can't just hate everything. We need the Joker. We need the Joker to work. We need to like it. We need to be hyped about it because if not, then what is there to be hyped about right now? Everything sucks. Terminator, Star Wars.
Awful.
Everything is awful. I wanna scratch my eyes out.
Mrs. trying to avoid self-harm.
Seriously, I need this. Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin this.
Don't take this away from me.
I have one thing left. One thing.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool concept. I'd like very much to see the kind of we got a super chat, Tom. If you want to go ahead and get to that.
$5 from Mexican Iron Man. The more I see the trailers, the more I freak out in Joker. I am to see how far Phoenix can take the psycho rabbit hole way down.
I know, Tom, that you're not a big fan of the
Cricket.
It's complicated. I'm not one for. I agree with. I'm in the camp that Mary brought up to where the Joker does not need a backstory. The moment you start giving him a backstory and making him sympathetic or empathetic or anything like that, you take away from the character, and also you put him in a position to where he can be easily copied by ignorant fools who see themselves in a psychotic character like that. And it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. But anyway, because the Joker has a lot of influence. Now, if you were just doing some random movie about, like, any old stuff that wasn't the Joker and just a guy dressed like a clown, it wasn't going to get as much attention as the Joker will get, we would be having this conversation. I wouldn't care. But to me, you have a sense of responsibility with a character like that. And especially when a theater full of people got shot up already because of the character of the Joker and a person's association with it, I think that you need to really tread carefully in those waters. And now I've heard reviews say that they don't really paint the character in good light. I've heard by the end of the movie, he's still technically a bad guy. But they also have this situation where they have the Waynes being touted out there as like the Trumps. So they're also going to make them like the bad guy. So I have this issue with that as well. And no, Black Phoenix, I don't think violent games create criminals, but I do think when people see characters like the Joker and Harley Quinn and they say they want to be like them, it's kind of fucking scary to me, especially after a theater full of people get shot up over it. But anyhow, I'm just saying.
That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion that goes into way deeper, darker territory. Now, if the movie's good, great. Do we need a Joker movie without Batman, though? I'm sick and tired of Batman things without Batman. I didn't really care for Gotham. I fell out of that. I didn't watch that Alfred show, or I don't plan on it. I didn't watch Krypton because it didn't have Superman in it. I'm not into that kind of thing. I don't like them kind of movies. At the same time, I don't know. Joaquin Phoenix is interesting as the Joker. I'm just not as on board with this as most people are, I guess.
Well, I think, like I said earlier, I think that there's reasonable arguments to be made from both camps, right? And I really do understand the desire to make sure that you leave, because the Joker is this sort of insane maniac who does these absolutely destructive, cataclysmic things to people on a regular basis because he's insane and he's batshit crazy, and people like it to be that way because empathizing with the Joker in a way sort of takes away the ability to just see him as the villain, right? Let him be batshit crazy. Let him be batshit crazy. And I do get that. And I think sometimes an air of mystery around a character is fine, good, wonderful, and welcome. I just also can't ignore the wealth of opportunity that is involved in diving into the psyche of such a psychopath, right? I think I agree with Miss that there are lots of ways to approach this. You can have multiple versions of a character. You can do different takes, and you don't have to all like the same thing. We're allowed to like different things. We're allowed to have different opinions. And perhaps it is that you don't like this movie, but other people will, and that's okay. We're allowed to disagree. But I guarantee you, with all of the reboots everybody's doing, and all of the remakes, and all of the different copies, and this is a sequel to this, that you will get another one, and it might be more to your liking. This is where I sit on it. You're welcome to disagree.
I mean, my favorite Joker is Jack Nicholson's Joker.
He was pretty good.
Oh, always will be. I appreciate and love the other ones, but Jack Nicholson's Joker kind of has like a place in my heart. But
Jack Nicholson just feels everything that he does, though. I mean,
and that's the first thing I always say to everybody who's like, "Oh, we needed a Joker movie." It's like, we already fucking had one. It was called Batman 1989. That's not a Batman movie. It's not much about Batman at all. It's all about the Joker. Watch the movie.
It's the thing is Jack Nicholson's Joker is his own Joker. And I talk about this in the video I made today. It's just, the thing is the Joker is more of a title than it is a character, and everyone has their own Joker. And Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is just a Joker.
Well, and it's not as if it hasn't been done before. The Killing Joke is, I think, a legit comic, legit movie. I did enjoy it. I like the sort of ending, like the who did he kill him or not. I enjoyed it. The movie, I get it. It's not everybody's on board with that, but I think you can do this, and it has been done, and it can be done, and that's okay. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be a big hit. I'm not gonna take that away from it. It could be a good movie, like I said, if they do it right. But I just don't. I'm sick and tired of the Joker too. At the same time, it's like we've had how many 5 different Jokers in the last couple of years?
More than that.
It's time to move on to other characters. Batman has a hell of a rogues gallery. It doesn't always have to be the Joker. I didn't like the one from Suicide Squad. What's his face?
I don't talk about him. We don't talk about him. The thing is that he wasn't really a Joker to talk about. He was just there as the Joker. He didn't have enough scenes to be a different Joker.
He was only there like very sporadically.
Yeah, he was just there as the Joker.
He was a plot device for Harley Quinn, essentially.
Yeah. So people
and
view
that's not really Harley
so
Quinn in my
wrong.
eyes either, to be honest with you. So
yeah, people saw that movie way wrong.
I mean, she was okay as far as the part goes, but that's not really Harley Quinn in the character. That's not who she is, and neither was that the Joker. I would have had no problem if they were like, "That's Jason Todd," and the real Joker's out there somewhere. He's just emulating the Joker. Then I'd be like, okay, because that's not the Joker.
He was a bit cringy. His Joker was a bit cringy.
Oh yeah.
He was like I don't want to say millennials, but like the woke version, the woke version Joker, right?
He was a bit of a soy Joker. He didn't seem tough as much as
They cut a lot of his shit up.
Like
too.
the wannabe gangster version Joker, like he wants to be a gangster, but he can't make it. Like he wants to be so hard.
Yeah, he wanted to be a badass, but
he's got like the fake grill, you know, the henna tattoos, not the real tattoos, but the henna tattoos, you know.
Yeah. I think the Joker needs to be terrifying, and that Joker wasn't terrifying. That Joker was just annoying.
I know.
He was just a pain in the ass. He wasn't. You didn't fear for your life when you saw the Joker thing. I don't know, but I did notice that people seem to view his relationship with Harley really wrong. I mean, even I did.
Okay. Sorry, I lagged out for a second there and I didn't catch everything. So.
It's all good.
Yeah, I was having issues too. So, yeah, let's pick up on the next story you had here, which was.
I believe we had Miss up next for the Harry Potter spells.
Yeah. You can go ahead and read that, Mary.
Yeah, let me get that pulled up here. I may lag.
Harry Potters are making the kids crazy. Okay, all right. Go back to what I was saying before. No, I don't think art necessarily should be held responsible for the actions of others. But at the same time, I just don't see that as the Joker. Why call it the Joker? Make it something else. That's my point. So anyway, here we go with this instance, though. This is one of those situations where you got to be kidding me. So here we go.
So, Miss, do you have the article up, or am I reading it?
You have to read it.
All right. So, a Catholic school removes Harry Potter from its shelves, claiming the book's spells are real. So a Catholic school in Nashville is receiving a lot of what a school leader called undesired attention over a decision to remove the Harry Potter book series from its shelves. On August 28th, Reverend Dan Rehill, the pastor of St. Edward Catholic School, sent an email to the school staff explaining his reasoning for removing the books from the school's library. These books present magic as both good and evil, which is not true. His letter reads, the curses and spells used in the books are actual curses and spells, which, when read by a human being, risk conjuring evil spirits into the presence of the person reading the texts. Rehill goes on to say he consulted with exorcists. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of, this is not me making fun of Catholicism, okay? Just bear with me. And the Catechism of the Catholic Church considered the ultimate summary of the Catholic doctrine before making the decision. The concerns, while the curses and spells claim is probably the most attention-getting part of Rehill's explanation, he also raises other philosophical points, saying the book's protagonists promote a Machiavellian approach to achieving the ends they desire. CNN called St. Edward Catholic School to request comment, but could not reach anyone. The K through 8th grade school belongs to the Roman Catholic Diocese of Nashville. Rick Masacchia, director of communications for the diocese, told CNN that Rehill's role as pastor of the diocesan school gives him a range of canonical roles which he can address. In other words, his decisions do not necessarily have to be approved or explicitly supported by the diocese, within reason. Masacchio also confirmed the email from Rehill, originally obtained by the Tennessean, was authentic. The school says it is not a ban. After the school's decision started to gain attention, the diocese superintendent of schools, Rebecca Hamill, sent an email to the school staff clarifying the scope of the Harry Potter purge. In a copy of the letter provided to CNN, Hamill expressed regret that the decision had brought the school undesired attention. She also clarified the school is not enacting a ban. The series was never part of the school's curriculum, and students can still read the books on the grounds. She said the decision to remove the books was part of a larger project of moving the library from one location to another, except that does not sound right. He said he moved it because of spells being mysterious. But anyway, in which the school's catalog was reorganized and some materials were removed due to age appropriateness or poor circulation. Over the years, the series has received attention over its presentation of magic and witchcraft, Hamill wrote. While the Catholic Church has expressed no formal position on the books and related movies, many voices in the church, even at higher levels, have expressed the subject matter may be inappropriate when due consideration is given to the maturity of the reader. We leave these decisions to you as your children's primary educator. Since its release in 1997, the Harry Potter book series has been the subject of international religious debate because of its alleged presentation of mysticism, the occult, and other themes that some say run counter to the tenets of Christianity and Islam. In 2006, the series topped the American Library Association's list of most challenged books of the 21st century.
Oh my god.
What was that joke you made earlier, Miss?
Accio $1 million.
Accio $1 million.
I have a wand. Do you want to use it?
Yes, please. Give me that money. No. Oh my god. I love it. I love all of this.
Dude, when I go to Universal, I'm gonna get another wand, and I'm gonna seriously gonna give it a go. I'm gonna Accio $1 million. Let me wrap myself up. What?
Harry Potter and the complete waste of time.
Oh, no. Like, I just don't understand. It absolutely baffles me, the notion that these spells are real.
I also have these, like...
Oh, Birdie Bots? The jelly beans?
Yeah, Birdie Bots.
Yeah.
I just can't read. There you go.
Birdie Bots every flavor jelly beans. So you can get like earwax and grass. It's disgusting.
Yes, good job, Black Phoenix.
Dude, I'm going to get some of those. Hopefully they're not super expensive. I'm going to get some while I'm in Universal. And I'm just going to start sending them to all my fellow fandom ministers and be like, if you eat this,
watch it.
I've never been a huge fan of Harry Potter, but this is one way to make kids start reading Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Tell them they're not allowed to.
Right?
Tell them they can't read it.
I just remember when I was a kid, they tried doing this and they didn't get away with it. So it just shows now that people are so extreme that they can get away with it. It's just ridiculous. It's showing the extreme people are getting away with more things now than they did 20 years ago. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Crazy. The world we are living in.
1950s bullshit. Because like kind of what Miss was getting at. It's like the quickest way to get somebody to do something is tell them not to do it.
But
You just can't see this. Don't go in there. Don't look at this. Yeah.
It's your imagination. Like what? Kids are gonna play like that on the playground anyways. Like,
yeah, they are. And what blows my mind is what kind of a rational thinking adult mind in any way thinks that any of this stuff is actually going to work. Look,
and it's a book. Like, why
I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to Avada Kedavra my brother. It didn't work. He's still walking around. I still got to deal with his butt. And so I'm just saying, what kind of a rational thinking human being who runs a school for the love of Bob is sitting there saying, you know what? I think that might be real. Children witchcraft.
Like, they aren't real. If you did the slightest bit of research, you would find out she just found Latin words and called them spells.
Well, what gets me is they're going to take Harry Potter out of the schools, but they're still going to like teach these other books that have so many other like graphic, like adult situations in them, you know, like sexual situations and stuff that I definitely would not want my child reading. But they're gonna take Harry Potter out, but they're gonna have them reading sexual situations in like 5th grade, you know, but take Harry Potter out because they're casting spells. But they're gonna have them reading about getting you know exactly what I'm talking about, you know?
Yeah.
But take Harry Potter out.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
Harry Potter, which single-handedly taught an entire generation of children how to read, right?
So open your brain and think and be imaginative and
Dude, well, Harry Potter is one of the most look, I read it when I was a kid, right? It was one of the most engaging book series I'd ever read in my life. And look, I read Lord of the Rings, I read The Hobbit, I read The Odyssey, I read countless books, and Harry Potter was probably the second highest on the list for me in terms of all-time favorite books to ever read. And it was this entire world that engrossed you. And never once in all of my time flicking sticks did I ever once manage to Wingardium Leviosa anything off the ground. And so kids recognize that they have an imagination. They're playing. You're not teaching them. Look, after 2 or 3 attempts and it not working, they're going to get it through their head. They're a muggle. And that's going to be all the end of it. It's not going to work after that. And then eventually they're going to hit a point where, okay, there's no such thing, right? But I still kind of hope. One day I'll get my Hogwarts letter.
Yeah. Be sort of a Luke situation, wouldn't it? Too old.
Just a little too old. So...
I should have that story where they have a 30-year-old who finally gets their letter.
Do you guys know
Adam Sandler joined?
Adam Sandler, dude.
I'm going to the school to be a wizard.
Oh my god, I need that movie now.
Zippity-doo.
Zippity-doo. I need that movie now with
Billy Madison. Goes to
Adam Sandler was still good.
Can't remember the name of the guy from Paul Blart. He'll play Albus Dumbledore.
I was gonna ask you girls, do you know which house you would have been in?
What, who?
Like in Harry Potter, which house you would have been in? Like a Ravenclaw?
I got Gryffindor when I did the test.
I don't know.
I got Gryffindor twice. I
probably would have been in Slytherin because I'm bad. I don't know.
My Patronus is a horse. My Patronus is a horse.
Or Ravenclaw. I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I probably would have been in Slytherin because I'm horrible.
Oh, I was Ravenclaw, although I always felt like I was more of a Gryffindor. Like I really felt like I could have gone to Gryffindor.
Mm.
But they pegged me as Ravenclaw, and then I had a unicorn for a Patronus.
See, I wanted to be Ravenclaw, and I got Gryffindor.
I should put the hat. I need to get a hat. Someone needs to put the hat on me.
Because I didn't want to be the assholes of the.
I don't want to be, but I feel like I would be. You know, I don't want to be, but I feel like I would be.
Yeah, but I got Gryffindor like twice. Yeah, I have all that information. I did the Pottermore stuff like 3 times, and I got Gryffindor every time.
It's settled now. That's what you are.
I don't want it though. I want to be like something that's off to the side that no one notices, like Ravenclaw.
There's Hufflepuff too.
Hufflepuff is too cutesy. I'm not cutesy.
No one wants to be a Hufflepuff. You're a normie if you're in Hufflepuff. You're a good finder. What the hell does that even mean? Like,
you're good at looking for stuff.
I can't ever find anything, man.
I was in Huff and Puff for old guys who can't get up the stairs.
Oh, I saw it totally different.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm not going to say.
I actually had a heron Patronus first, and then I got the horse. And the heron's the same as J.K. Rowling's Patronus.
Really?
It was. Hers changed, and then mine changed. So I guess we went in different directions.
A Patronus can change if you've had some kind of shocking event take place in your life. Are you okay, miss? You okay?
No, I am not okay. Not at all. I'm so not okay that I'm a horse.
All right.
I totally thought she was going to say something else for a second there.
Wow. All right.
Hey now.
That went so a different direction than I thought it was going to. Yeah, I'm not a Harry Potter head, not least this kind. I'm not into the Harry Potter stuff at all. It's way past my time. Yes, I'm old, so this is like way past my time. Huffle, and
I never got into the Harry Potter stuff as much as my friends did. I liked the 3rd film. It's the only one that I actually really, really like. And
it's one of my favorites, actually.
I did the Pottermore stuff because my friend was a Potterhead.
I understand it more so than some of the other ones, but I just never got into it.
My dad hates J.K. Rowling.
Well, fair enough. She's a flip-flopper.
I don't like her. I used to be like, okay, I mean, she's not that bad, and now I'm like, she's so insane, I can't even stand her existence anymore.
I mean, I get it. It was the right thing at the right time, and in a way, it became like that generation's Star Wars, really.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was kind of like Star Wars for when my dad was a kid, but not as good.
When your dad was a kid,
that's
Star Wars
debatable.
was coming out when I was a kid.
I mean, that's debatable to fans. I don't want to tear down Harry Potter. I mean, I have nothing against it. It's just not my thing. Yeah.
I have stuff against it. No.
I mean, yeah,
I want to tear down Harry Potter.
I just have no frame of reference. I watched part of one of the movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think J.K. Rowling, she did good, and then she just couldn't let go, and she couldn't let go of the spotlight. She needed all the money, and
she couldn't let it go. Sorry, couldn't help it. Can't hold it back anymore.
Stop writing all your stupid books.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have on this one. If you guys are done.
I was done before it began. I milked as many jokes out of it as I could.
I was done 2 Tuesdays ago.
Oh, so we had one more story, right?
Yeah.
This one now. The article is insanely long, and it's Mrs. Story. So I don't know if you want to give us an overview.
No.
Yeah, you could just probably do like a short version if you want.
Yeah.
It kind of goes off of what we were talking about earlier and a couple of weeks ago too, in a way, but it's about comedies in general, right?
Yeah. How
Well, they've been doing very poorly at the box office.
Well, everything.
Every single one of them.
For Marvel.
Yeah. So I think the question wheels around to is like why, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll let you like present what it was that the article itself was trying to say in this.
Well, it listed a bunch of movies. I'm not familiar with every single one of them. I saw The Good Boys and the one about the teenage girls. I can't remember the name of. I didn't see a single one of those movies. I just knew a few of them from trailers. They didn't capture my attention at all as comedies. Maybe I'm just not into comedies that much. I know I'm pretty easy to make laugh, so some of the films that I did recognize that they did list in the article were woke movies as far as I was concerned, or at least dumb stories that they put together to sort of bring in younger people or get across some sort of message about kids. I don't know. I didn't watch the films because they weren't interesting. And I did say
they listed The Long Shot, The Hustle, Palms, Booksmart, Night, Men in Black International, Shaft, The Dead Don't Die.
Is it just me or is she chopping up there?
She's chopping up. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I have a storm that's right above me, so my internet's probably getting choppy right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. But you were listening off the movies from the article.
Can you see the private one? I can write them in here.
Oh no.
The Dead Don't Die, Stubber.
Yeah.
Bubber, or The Farewell, The Art of Self-Defense, The Peanut Butter Falcon.
The Peanut Butter Falcon I saw a trailer for, and I thought was immediately stupid when I saw the trailer. Am I the only one with that?
I haven't seen
No, I heard one of my people who always talks to me told me it was stupid.
Yeah, it looks stupid from the trailer. It stars what's his name from Transformers?
Mark Wahlberg.
No,
LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf, and a Down syndrome actor. And it did not interest me at all.
And then it also lists The Good Boys and Where'd You Go, Bernadette.
Yeah, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Actually, I was interested in, but never got around to watching.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all.
A little bit.
Does it run down at all at the end, like what its idea is about why it is that they're flopping?
It kind of beats around the bush in the article.
See, my big thing is what blows my mind is why is it that Disney and Marvel and all of this stuff is doing so well? Now, look, obviously, Endgame was a pretty fantastic movie, and a lot of the content that we get from Marvel is pretty great. You know, with like basically at this point, just I have one exception, and that's Captain Marvel that we've gotten so far. Obviously, Phase 4 is a little bit terrifying moving forward. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I have a theory on the Disney Marvel stuff, and it's going to offend you.
Okay.
Disney Marvel movies are easy to watch. They attract casual moviegoers as much as they do attract just the comic book lovers and pretty much everybody else. The way that they frame them and the way that they put them together, they're just easy to watch. They don't overcomplicate the story, action, funnies, all that. It doesn't really get deep, only in certain parts with certain characters that are favorites among certain comic book lovers that go to see the movie. Those movies aren't really, they don't make you think.
Mm-hmm.
So they're easy to watch and they're easy to go see and get excited about.
Well, in a word, I'm not offended at all by that. In fact, I was heading in a similar direction. Was just this concept that people we're living in a world where people don't really teach their kids how to think critically anymore, right? They don't teach their kids. I mean, God, I'm 35 at this point in my life, and I was homeschooled, but literally all of my friends that I grew up with were dumb. And I'm not saying that because I didn't love them, but because I found myself in conversations where I would get somewhere that they could never get to, and I couldn't understand why that was for the longest time. And I finally come to the conclusion that it has something to do with the public school system and with parents just not giving a shit. And so I agree with you when you say that the reason that these things sell so well, that they do so well in theaters when other things don't necessarily do as well, even if perhaps it's possible that some of them do deserve more attention, although of course not all of them, is because we live in a world where it's easier to digest. Hey, I know this story. Look, it looks shiny and new. Yay. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to pick it apart. I don't have to recognize that, hey, this is Hamlet. This is just another version of The Lion King, right?
It doesn't mean that it's bad necessarily. It doesn't interest me particularly, but the humor in it is very specific to what it is. They tried that kind of humor. Disney attempted that kind of humor in Star Wars, and it didn't work because it wasn't the same. That humor should stay within that sort of comic book movie. Star Wars isn't that, and they mixed it up too much. And the humor in The Last Jedi fell really flat because it was too childish, too easy.
Right. And you're focusing in, really tight on that subject. But what you were saying before was really interesting too. And to go off of what you're saying before, that is true. The Marvel movies and stuff like that are easier for the general audience to consume. But also most comedies now that are worth a shit seem to be going to places like Netflix, Hulu, instead of theaters. And Megs and I were just talking about one of the movies she did like this summer that was a comedy, and that was the Long Shot movie, but it just didn't make enough money in the theater to be a hit at all. But it didn't like flop. But again, when a movie like that shouldn't necessarily cost $40 million to make.
I have a thing though. I think people are just too because you can't be everyone's too afraid to offend everybody these days.
That's the other part. Yes.
Because if like Dave Chappelle, he says something and he offends somebody, and then the next thing you know, all these bloggers are talking all this crap about how he goes all this, because you can't do anything without offending somebody these days. So how can you be a comedian and not offend somebody? So no wonder none of these comedies aren't making any money.
Comedians know what's funny. They know their audience. They know what's going to make them laugh.
Comedian because everyone is so sensitive these days, and everyone is just offended over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was the next point I was going to get to too. Is the other part is it's hard to make comedy now.
Yeah,
you can't anymore without offending somebody, and that's why I asked that in the chat when Megs and I were talking. I'm trying to remember the last comedy that was actually successful, and you have to go back to like the movies we were talking about earlier, like The Heat or Spy or something like that, which is already almost a decade ago, and stuff like that, to where you really had comedies that weren't just flat safe crap. Oh, I guess we had that sausage whatever movie for
by Seth Rogen.
Yeah, sausage
Seth Rogen.
but that's still but that was still a couple years back too now.
It's only offensive in the most rudimentary way.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that movie only would have worked really to me as a short, because once you break that wall of we're gonna swear in this cartoon, it grows old after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the most basic form of humor in that it's a giant sex joke. That's all it is. And look, I like sex jokes as much as the next person. They're freaking funny. But I don't want to spend an hour and a half watching people go.
Well, it was part of the reason for like Ghostbusters 2016 why I thought Ghostbusters 2016 was bad. Some of it was because Ghostbusters, the original, worked because of the comedy that was going through SNL at the time that it was made. SNL comedy today doesn't work with that story.
Mm-hmm.
It was too awkward and cringy the way that their humor is now today. I don't watch SNL anymore. The older SNL stuff is better.
Mm-hmm.
I love Seth Rogen.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Seth Rogen.
No, I could not agree more than I do with Red Lantern down there. That Mel Brooks made some of the best comedies. Period.
Yeah.
Well, he recently said that he can't even make his kind of movies anymore because you could never make any of his movies.
Lord help you if a black man pops out and goes, "Where the white women at?" Like everybody, like God forbid, right? Like comedy has gotten so nerfed at this point. But comedy's meant to offend. Comedy's meant to push boundaries. Comedy is meant to be able to take the line and scoot it back a little bit. And when you nerf it to the point where people can't even do that anymore, where they're writing blogs and having horrible fits over, oh God, Dave Chappelle's gone and crossed the line. Well, he did his job. He did his job then. Why are you upset?
It's because they take him seriously. They take jokes seriously. Don't joke about this because then we'll suddenly think you're being serious and not joking. He's not joking.
In a freaking comedy special. One of the things that's funny about comedy, one of the reasons why comedy is so funny, is that you derive it from real life experiences, right? And then you exaggerate it. So it comes from this sort of honest place where you're not afraid to go there, right? And just because you don't like looking at the stuff doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So one of the ways we cope with that is by laughing at it. And I think it's fantastic when a comedian goes ahead and throws it out there and reminds you that, you know what, life's a little funny. Like sometimes it's bizarre, sometimes it's weird, and sometimes we just have to cope with it because all we can do is laugh. And that's how you get through life. That's one of the ways that you get through life. Comedy is literally a coping mechanism for the insanity that you are surrounded by on a regular basis. So why on earth would you take that away from people? It's actually beneficial.
And that's why the new Rush Hour with females isn't going to work, because Rush Hour's basis is offensive humor. It's entirely offensive humor. And what are they going to do? Just joke about their vaginas the entire time? That's all they know how to do. Female comedians only talk about their vaginas for kicks. They have nothing else.
Well, boobs. It's amazing, isn't it? Woohoo! Let's give that woman another award.
And it was funny. I seen it on both sides with the whole Dave Chappelle thing. It was like, first of all, it was the one side that was like, this is the most degrading, insulting, you name it, whatever, it's not comedy. It's, all these things on the SJW side and ultra conservative side. And then on the other side, you had, this is the greatest comedy ever. It's the most racy comedy ever. And it's like, guys, you all forgot what comedy was like years ago. Throw on Eddie Murphy Raw and tell me again that this is the most racy comedy you've ever watched in your life. Or throw on a Richard Pryor album and get back to me. Or George Carlin, for that matter. Because remember, comedians actually used to do this for a living. This is what they do. They show you the embarrassing side of life. They say the things that they're not supposed to say because that's their job. People forget. Even guys like Howard Stern, who's not necessarily a comedian, but he used to speak his mind, and he's an intelligent guy. There were a lot of intelligent people who used to say a lot of racy shit back in the day and weren't afraid to say it. That's where comedy's really turned to shit as far as the quality. Yes. Yeah. There's still a quantity out there. You can turn on Netflix and find 100 Adam Sandler movies every year. Mm-hmm. Not to throw him in the mud, but let's face it, the guy hasn't made a decent movie since Little Nicky. But anyway, I digress.
Check out George Carlin's skit on suicide. He did a whole thing about suicide. It was funny as hell. It was hilarious.
George Carlin, the king of that shit.
Yeah, all the words you can't say.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, I love he'll talk. He always goes into how unpolitically correct he was, and just all the stuff he would get into was never. It would never fly today.
No.
Never.
That's why he died.
Probably. It's sad, but it's true. He got to the point where he couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
People need to learn how to take a joke and
stop giving your money to movies that aren't funny. Because they're not funny. They're not funny. Just because you smiled to yourself does not mean it was funny. It means you went and moved on. It's not funny.
This humor is just getting tiresome, or just they give space for like the laugh track to come in. They do that.
I'm getting sick of the generic comedians, like what's his face who does the damn puppets, ventriloquist. What the hell?
Jeff Dunham?
Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, he is the number one comedian right now. You want to know why? Because his shit is just so flat and generic. Just like every other comedian out there now, they're playing it safe. They're doing this flat, generic, typical shtick. And when guys like Dave Chappelle come out and speak their mind and do what he used to do best, then that's when this kind of shit happens. I remember when it used to be an event when these guys would put out a comedy special. The world would like tune in on HBO or Showtime or whatever, at the time. And it was a big deal when Carlin would do one of his specials, or Richard Pryor had a movie out or whatever, because he would do the concert films too. And so Eddie Murphy did Raw, and Red Fox was another one that was brought up in the chat. It was another racy one. You had a lot of them back in the day that, weren't afraid to speak their mind. Some of them went to prison for this, or not prison, but jail, like Lenny Bruce and some of these other guys that got, a lot of trouble for the shit they said. So.
Yeah. I think the comedies are just too afraid to take risks, and they go this easy comedy route that isn't interesting, and they have to make up these shitty stories that no one's interested in to do it. Like, the only way we can be funny is if we use these little boys walking around doing stuff.
It's either self-degrading humor, or it's if you're whatever said race, your entire act is built around your said race. Or if you're a lesbian, your entire act is built around the fact that you're a lesbian. If you're gay, your entire act is built, down the line. You know what I mean? It's getting to that point where it's like, what happened to these guys that could come out, and gals who could come out there? And we haven't mentioned some of the women that are, there's some that are, like that should have been mentioned too. But point being, that go out there, and they had more than just a shtick. They were legendary because of it. It's sad.
Yeah. And the thing is like the Good Boys movie is probably more funny than that movie they made about teenage girls. I can't remember what the movie is called. About the two girls. I can't remember what it's called. But teenage girls. What?
Never mind. I'm thinking something else. Just kidding.
But teenage girls are not interesting, and they're not funny. They're just not. Teenage girls are annoying, and no one likes them. That's just the truth.
Except teenage boys.
Teenage boys can be funny. Teenage girls cannot be funny. No one likes teenage girls. I don't like myself as a teenage girl. I go back on my Facebook posts and I want to go stab teenage me.
Well, if you did that, then you wouldn't be here now. So
don't do that.
Don't give me a time machine, man. Don't give me a time machine.
They never made teenage girls funny back in the day.
Not like now, though.
Even Mean Girls is not that old, but
but they're not actually teenage girls. That's a script written by adults. That.
Yeah, you're right, but still.
No, but the thing is with the Mean Girl stuff is that they're actually bitches.
Yeah.
Right.
They're talking about them being bitches and backstabbing girls. That's what they are. Girls are bitches. And
Yeah, go ahead.
It's only
this-
in the most maniacal way possible.
Yeah. The comedy I'm talking about has teenage girls going to parties and smoking weed and being cool. Teenage girls are not cool.
Trying to do the well, I mean, I'm not saying that women don't do that or teenage girls don't do that, but I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, though. They're trying to rip off the typical Bad Boys kind of comedy kind of thing. Yeah, I gotcha. Because even that Bad Boys thing that come out this summer isn't anything that original. And I think Mary or one of you guys Mecca or Mary warned me that it's like, that's like that story you had. And I seen the preview. I'm like, oh, it's nothing like I had. I'm not.
Yeah. No.
What I did is
girls
actually
are funny.
and worth of shit.
Yeah.
So
The Mean Girl stuff is funny because it's true. It's funny because it's true.
Which
it's
is
an exaggerated truth.
Yeah.
It's definitely an exaggerated truth. But it's true.
I agree.
Well, I think a lot of them for a while tried to get around some of this PC shit by setting a lot of things in the 80s. I know horror movies do that notoriously, not just because of the un-PC factor, but they can also get around cell phones that way. But I mean, it felt like a lot of comedies were doing that for a while too, where they would set them in the 80s or something like that to where they could be a little bit more racy and it'd be acceptable. Because I mean, I remember they talked for years, speaking of remakes, they talked about, like trying to redo Revenge of the Nerds and stuff like that. And Porky's was another one that keeps coming up. And it's like, I don't know if you could read why those movies won't work now. And Porky's is a time period movie. So what's the point of remaking Porky's anyway? It takes place in the 50s. So it's kind of silly to remake it to me. It makes no sense. And then as far as Revenge of the nerds are not really, a bad thing anymore. They wouldn't be treated the same way anymore. And you can't make Revenge of the Nerds now anyway. None of the things in that movie it's so racist and just off color. You could never do it now. And it just wouldn't work. It would have to be like Revenge of the Jocks or something like that is the only way it would work. I don't know how you could do it now, or the Band Kids. Revenge of the Band Kids, would that work? That's like the closest thing you have to nerds now that when I was a kid, what a nerd would be in those movies compared to now. Because now the nerds are cool because you go to them to fix your computer. So, I'm mumbling and nobody else is talking. Why is nobody stopping me?
Because we're listening to you.
You guys got to cut me off.
Well, I'm sorry. Shut up, Tom.
Leave it to Miss.
Go away.
Wait. Your father is a hamster and your father's a hamster and your mother smelled of elderberry. Now go away or I shall talk to you a second time. Comedy. Old
Good comedy.
Oh.
Good old comedy.
So.
Monty Python is solid.
Yeah, I like what Nelson Sharita said. When Revenge of the Nerds came out, I was a nerd in high school and loved it. I watched it now, and it's like, oh yeah, you guys are all going to jail.
Yeah.
Like everybody in those movies would end up in jail for all the shit that happens. Yeah, if they did it now. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is another very racy comedy / dramedy, whatever you want to call it from the time.
Comedy stuff sucks right now because it's dumbed down, it's childish, and it's easy. They're not taking risks with it. They're not trying to be smart with it, and it's not interesting.
Truth bombs. Sorry.
I think that's all we got.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I have any more on the topic.
When they're gonna do an all-female American Pie.
Megs, I know your dogs went nuts. Do you want to say something?
No, they finally
they shut up. Good puppies.
Darn you, Fred. Yeah.
Fred.
Yeah, the Doberman. Yeah, he's
Freaking Fred.
He's very loud.
Okay.
He's good now.
I think we about beat this to death, and y'all let me ramble on way too damn long.
Yeah,
well, you had something interesting to say for once.
I didn't think it was that interesting.
From now on, instead of saying "Hi, Tom," we're gonna say "Cork it, Tom."
Yes, please do.
Maybe I'll get that.
Cork it, Tom.
See, everybody else knows to just run me over. Just keep going. Yeah, we'll never get a Blazing Saddles 2, Alfarius.
We're ladies.
I want a Tropic Thunder too.
You're not.
That was probably the last un-PC comedy we really did get. There you go, Miss. That's the last one I can really remember that felt like an old school comedy. And don't ever, ever, ever forget that Robert Downey Jr. got nominated for an Oscar for playing a man in blackface.
True.
I think it was, what's his name? Chris Rock. Was it Chris Rock who gave it to him? I can't remember.
Did he? Oh yeah, he did win, didn't he? That's right, he did. It was whoever won. Usually it's whoever wins.
No, it wasn't Chris Rock. I'm a racist. It's okay.
Usually whoever wins the year before, but yeah.
I don't remember who gave it to him.
Some black guy.
We're bad.
I don't know if he won or not. I thought he just got nominated.
Turn it off, Tom. Turn it off.
We're
Get
done.
us out of here.
Okay. Ladies, tell them where they can find you. Let's start with Miss, since she's the most embarrassed at the moment.
Well, I think after this you could find me in hell.
Oh.
Other than that, I have a YouTube channel if you want to check that out, and I have a Twitter. I recently did a video on the Joker if you want to check that out. Well, I did a makeshift video because the other one got screwed up, so I had to be like, okay, this is a sum up of the video I was going to make. But if you want to go watch that, that's fine. We'll do that. I didn't link any of the things I said I was going to link in that video. I'm just realizing.
She's so disappointed.
Shit. There's so many things I had to link and I didn't do it.
Oh no.
You can do it.
Is it my turn?
Yes. I was making sure Miss was done.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was trying to help her out because she said she just.
I know.
We had this discussion earlier, right? Right, Miss? We had this discussion
I'm muting myself now.
I was trying to help you out, you know?
Megs, tell them where they can find you at.
See, I was trying to help her out. You can find me at my channel, which is just my self-titled Megs channel, and I do the Megs show. I also am the co-host of the Jolly and Megs show with my puppet brother Jolly. Is that better?
He returned, right? He's been returned. He's no longer kidnapped, right?
Yes, El Perro de Rover is alive, but he no longer has Jolly. Jolly is home and safe.
I gotta catch up. So
yes, he's home and safe, but El Perro de Rover is still around, and you better watch out for him because he's a bad boy. Not like Fred. Fred's a good boy. Rover is a bad boy. And yes. And Mary, it's your turn now.
And Mary, you're going to be leaving us for a little while, are you not?
Yes. So starting next Tuesday for a couple of weeks, you guys are going to have Miss Mara Jade fill in for me for a little bit. Now I will be gone for about 3 weeks. But I'm going to try to make it for the last toxic femininity. That word. The toxic femininity before I actually get back. So I do anticipate it only being 2 weeks that I'm out. So, but Mara is awesome. She's wonderful. She's got wonderful commentary. Not to mention she's absolutely gorgeous to boot. So well replaced, and she's fantastic. And I'll be back.
You'll never be replaced. She's just sitting in, and who knows, Mecca might show up and stuff too while you're gone. And no worries. We'll hold down the fort.
Yeah, it'll be good. I trust you guys. Don't burn the chat down while I'm gone.
Only a little.
Just no burning the chat down while I'm gone. But yeah, guys, I am Mary B. I am the mistress of mayhem. I am disruptor of the narrative and an official Whammon card holder, which is over at my other house right now. I don't have it, but normally it's just a little picture with Captain Marvel on it, looking all like she thinks she can take over the world. And you can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where we talk about newsy news stuff during the week. And on the weekends, we play games like Shenanigans, and we do Marioki and Failed Save, which is D&D. And yeah, so there's a lot of variety over my channel. I guarantee you there's something you'll find that you'll like. So come check me out.
That's right. She's made sure there's going to be tons and tons of stuff while you guys are gone. She's been working day and night and day, blood, sweat, and tears for you folks. So subscribe to her channel. Be sure to watch.
Woman is getting gray hair.
Be sure to watch karaoke. Be sure to watch. Did you do fail safe as well?
Yes, everything is going to be covered on the weekends. There will always be a shenanigans. There will always be a karaoke or a failed save. So the weekend content is all set up. And then I will, of course, be live streaming from Disney and Galaxy's Edge and Universal Studios, and still trying to, if I can, put up videos throughout the week as well. So I'm still here. I'm still here. It's just some of it's going to be pre-recorded.
She's a beast, folks. Can't stop her. So check her out. Check the other ladies out. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, of course. Make sure that bell icon is checked because YouTube likes to uncheck that. So once again, I want to say thank you for all the ladies here for listening to us on this toxic femininity here on Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Bye. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So